Hello students, chapter 3 Plant Kingdom and video number 2. In this video, I'll be discussing about division 2 Bryophyta. Bryophyta, what are the salient features of Bryophyta? Bryophyta includes various mosses and liverworts that commonly grow in moist shaded areas in the hill. Children, in your house, you must be having moss sticks. Many times the plants which are climbers, we put it around the moss stick. Moss stick not only provides support to the plants to grow upright, but it also provides them moisture. Bryophytas are also known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. This is because these plants can live both in the soil as well as they require water for their sexual reproduction. So they depend on terrestrial as well as water life. In Bryophyta also the plant body is thallus-like. It may be prostrate or erect, and it is attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack true leaves, stem, and root. Rather, they possess root-like, leaf-like, and stem-like structure. If you see over here, these are three examples of Bryophyta. This is Markensia, which comes under liverwort. This is Funaria, and children, this is sphagnum. You can see over here, there are small root-like structure, which is known as rhizoids. And the body doesn't have a true root, stem, or leaf. Even if you see this, this is not they are leaf-like, they are not leaf. Their internal structure is not similar to the leaves of angiosperms. Same way, this is the main axis, which you can see, this is not stem, this is stem-like. Again, what do you mean by stem-like? They look like stem, they look like leaf, but their internal structure is not similar to the stem and leaf of the angiosperms. And in Markensia, you can see the body is thallus-like. Now, let us study about the reproduction of Bryophyta. Students, I want to mention over here that the main plant body of Bryophyta is haploid. Yes, the main plant body of the Bryophyta is haploid. That means it has half the number of chromosomes. It produces gametes and therefore it is known as gametophyte. On this main plant body, on this gametophyte, you will find male sex organs known as antheridium and female sex organs known as archegonium. Now, let me show you this figure, this diagram. You can see this is the antheridium. This is the antheridium. This is the male thallus bearing antheridiopore bearing the antheridium. And this is the female thallus, archegonium. This is the archegoniophore bearing the archegonium. So this plant body, the main plant body is haploid, it is gametophyte. You can see very well over in this figure in Funaria, this part is gametophyte, which is the main plant body, and the sporophyte, that is diploid part, that sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. Sporophytes are always in bryophyte dependent on gametophyte. What is sporophyte? The diploid part of the plant body. It cannot live independently. It is dependent on the gametophyte. Now, we were doing that antheridium, the male sex organ antheridium, it produces what? Anthrazoids. That is biflagellate. And the female sex organ, that is the archegonium, it is a flask shaped structure and it produces single egg. Let me show you the structure. This is the structure of an antheridium. This is the antheridium. This is the stalk, that is the antheridiopore. And here, these are the sperm mother cell, which will produce the anthrazoid, which is covered by a jacket. This is the archegonium, and this is the stalk of the archegonium. That is the archegoniophore, which I showed you just now. This is, you can see the archegonium is flask shaped, and in this archegonium flask shape, that is the oosphere is present, which is known as the egg. Then these are the canal cells and all. Those things you do not have to do in detail. So you have just now seen that antheridium, it produces anthrazoids. I have shown you the structure of antheridium as well as shown you the structure of archegonia, and it is flask shaped. Now these anthrazoids, they are motile. They are released in water. They move passively in water and reach the archegonium. As you have seen just now, the archegonium is present. The egg cells are present in the flask-shaped archegonium. So they enter there and they fuse. Fusion takes place, and that fusion results in what? Zygote. Now, student, this zygote is diploid, and this zygote produces multicellular body that is known as the sporophyte. And I told you earlier also, and I'm repeating it, the sporophyte is not free living. It is dependent to the gametophyte. The gametophyte is independent, it is dominant, and it undergoes photosynthesis. Sporophyte does not undergo photosynthesis. Sporophyte being diploid, it is dependent on the haploid gametophyte. So over here in bryophyte, the gametophytic plant body is dominant and sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. Then these some cells of the sporophyte undergoes meiosis division to produce haploid spores, and these haploid spores then further produces the gametophyte, and these gametophytes are again independent. Under bryophyte comes, we will be studying two groups, that is liverworts and mosses. So now let's study about liverworts. Under liverwort comes an example known as Markensia. I showed you also just now Markensia, and these liverworts, they grow usually in moist and shady habitats. Their plant body is thallus-like. It is dorsiventral and it is closely appressed to the substratum. See, it is, I am sure this is the Markensia. Body is thallus-like, you can see, and it is dorsiventral appressed to the substratum. Can you see these structures, student? These structures are known as gamma cups. They, if Markensia undergoes asexual reproduction, this asexual reproduction takes place by with the help of these small receptacle like structures which are known as gamma cups or gamete. And asexual reproduction may also takes place by fragmentation, but their peculiar they are more identified by a peculiar structure which is cup-like structure known as gamete or gamma cup. These gamma cup gets detached from the main plant body, and they germinate into a new individual. And in Markensia, the sporophyte is further differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. But this foot, seta, and capsule is more dominant, or you can study more in mosses. It's more clear in mosses. See, again, this is Markensia. You can see Markensia. This is the male and this is the female. These are the gamma cups. You can see the spores are being released from the gamma cup. The gamma cup is being released, and again it gives rise to the male thallus. Over here also it gives rise to the male thallus. If it, the antheridium will produce, the male thallus will produce antheridium. The antheridium will produce antherozoids that will swim across and come to the archegonia where fusion will take place, and then again the zygote will be formed. That zygote will produce spores and that will gives rise to the thallus. Now the second group, that is mosses. And in moss, this is one of the example. I told you there are two examples of moss. One is sphagnum and the other is funaria. So you can see this is the sphagnum. It is a moss. Generally, we make moss stick out of it. This is funaria, and in funaria, I explained you this is the structure showing the gametophyte and the sporophyte. This is the sporophyte or the diploid structure. It is non-photosynthetic. It cannot live free. It is dependent on this gametophytic gametophyte. So we say the dominant phase is gametophyte in bryophyte. Now let us study the life cycle of moss, children, and let me show you the diagram and explain you. You can see this. This is the life cycle of funaria. In life cycle of funaria, the very first thing, the spores will germinate and it will give rise to uh, the cylindrical structure which is known as protonema. Can you see this cylindrical, the brown part? The cylindrical structure, this is the first stage. The spore will give rise to this protonema. Now the second phase is that this protonema will give rise to leafy structure. This is the leafy structure. So the first stage is protonema stage, which directly develops from the spore, and on that protonema, the second stage that develops is the leafy structure, which develops secondary protonemas also. And these protonemas, if they can reproduce vegetatively by fragmentation and budding. If it a portion of the protonema breaks and develops, can develop separately into other protonemas also, or it can form buds, and those buds can develop into protonema, and then that protonema gives rise to leafy structure. This leafy structure will bear the male reproductive part, that is the antheridium, and the female reproductive part, the archegonium. The male reproductive part, that is the antheridium, will produce antherozoids. You can see the antherozoids or the sperms over here. They are spiral shaped, and this is the archegonium. The antherozoids or the sperms will swim through the water and come and fuse with the egg to form the zygote. This zygote will divide and it form the sporophyte. The sporophyte is further divided into foot, seta, and capsule. This sporophyte cannot stay free. It is dependent on the gametophyte, and this capsule again divides. Inside the capsule, many spores are being formed. These spores are released on maturation of the capsule or maturation of the spores. These spores again germinate to form the protonema. So this is the whole life cycle of moss which takes place. And again, I want to tell you over here, repeatedly I'm telling you that in bryophyte, the dominant phase is gametophytic phase and the sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. Thank you, students.